Good morning. Today is Tuesday, July 22nd. Let's give ourselves a round of applause for making it past Monday. This is Wake Up with KERA News, and I'm Andrew Garcia. Give us a round of applause, especially because it's been so hot recently. Highs today will be in the upper 90s, and it's only getting hotter through the rest of the week. Like yesterday, we'll be hoping for some breezes to help us stay cool. Politically motivated violence has become more commonplace as the country becomes more polarized. How does a shooting at a North Texas immigration detention center fit in? We'll hear how after the news. Dallas College has received almost $4 million in job training grants. KERA's Ala Mokhtar reports the funds will be used to train workers in high-demand jobs.
More than $2.8 million will go toward training employees in HVAC, plumbing, and electrical companies. The other two grants are for engineering and manufacturing workers at Lockheed Martin and for workers at multiple manufacturing and construction companies. The Skills Development Fund grants were awarded by the Texas Workforce Commission. Governor Greg Abbott said in a news release, the grants will provide skills training to about 1,900 new and current employees, ensuring Texas businesses have, quote, the talent they need to compete in a global arena. For KERA News, I'm Ala Mokhtar.
The Texas Black Invitational Rodeo returns to South Dallas this weekend. The annual event at Fair Park celebrates the legacy of black cowboys and cowgirls with bull riding, barrel racing, and more. Margie Reese is the interim executive director of the African American Museum, which hosts the event each and every year.
It gives us a chance to remind Texans and the rest of the world that the Western Front was blazed by African American horsemen and cowgirls who helped blaze the trails for the onward development of America.
This is the rodeo's 36th year. So far, authorities have arrested more than a dozen people after a shooting at a North Texas immigration detention center. KERA's Caroline Love reports it's one of many instances of political violence as the country becomes more polarized and extremists lash out.
ICE agents are increasingly showing up in masks and unmarked vehicles when making arrests. Critics say it's an unnecessary escalation intended to strike fear. Acting Director Todd Lyons said at a press conference last month it's for the agents' protection. The Department of Homeland Security says attacks on ICE agents have gone up by 830%.
People are out there taking photos of the names, their faces, and posting them online with death threats to their family and themselves.
Several people face federal charges after a police officer was wounded during a shooting at the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado on July 4th. Days later, border agents shot and killed a man in McAllen who fired at the agents with an AR-15 style rifle. Political violence is becoming more commonplace. A gunman faces federal charges after killing the Minnesota Speaker of the House and her husband and wounding a state senator and his wife. And President Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt at a rally a year ago where an attendee was killed. John Lewis from the program on extremism at George Washington University says the normalization of political violence has emboldened extremists.
We have created this subset of people in our society who are just primed for the call to arms against whatever the next enemy in the culture war is.
It's unclear from the court documents what the plan or motivation was for the demonstration at the Prairieland Detention Center. At least one of the defendants told authorities he didn't know there would be any violence. At least two people in the woods fired off about 30 rounds with assault-style rifles when the Alvarado police arrived, according to court records. An officer was shot in the neck and is expected to recover. Ira Youssef told KERA she's close friends with many of the defendants. Youssef knows them from protesting on behalf of social justice causes and volunteering with a nonprofit that feeds people experiencing homelessness.
These aren't dangerous people. They want to help innocent folks that are being kept prisoner.
Court records say there were at least two shooters, but it's not clear who they are. William Braniff, who studies extremism at American University, says the far left normally doesn't commit lethal violence. Braniff says they're more known for symbolic acts, like bombing a federal building while it's empty. He says tactics are changing, but
the violent far right has been much more active in recent decades and much more lethal in recent decades, and the comparison is not really even close.
Braniff says increased violence from far-left extremists could lead to a response from the far right, including vigilante violence in support of Trump's border policies. The Trump administration has referred to the group from the shooting at the Alvarado facility as leftist criminals and protesters as deranged rioters. Jason Blazakis from the Center on Terrorism, Extremism, and Counterterrorism at the Middlebury Institute of International Studies says the Trump administration's rhetoric can be incendiary.
In some cases, it even looks like they're asking for a response.
Braniff says that's why politicians need to be mindful of what they say.
We can't normalize this violence or let violent extremists tell us what is normal.
But Lewis says there are limits on what can be done about extremism.
It's not illegal to be an extremist, for better or worse. We love our Constitution, we love our First Amendment, and that enables extremists, even anti-Semitic, Islamophobic, hateful, bigoted ones, to express their views.
Most of the defendants from the Prairieland shooting face a maximum of life in prison if convicted, and the Minnesota gunman could receive the death penalty. And as tensions boil, the cycle of political violence may continue.
That was KERA's Caroline Love reporting. The Dallas Wings take on the Seattle Storm this evening. They'll be looking to turn around their current losing streak. And the Cowboys officially start the training portion of training camp today in Oxnard, California. They'll have a fan night and an opening day ceremony on Friday and Saturday of this week. Make plans to head to the Dallas Museum of Art as it welcomes horror author Stephen Graham Jones. He'll be discussing his new novels, The Babysitter Lives and The Killer on the Road. For tickets and other fun things to do, visit our Go See DFW calendar at kera.org/calendar. Thanks so much for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. This show is produced and edited by Shardae White and Bekah Morr. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. That's where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter. You'll get a more in-depth look into the news with plenty of good morning vibes. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at KERATX. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.